GU Self-Storage, conveniently located near the Harmon McDonald's, offers fully covered loading and unloading area with individual pin-coded gate and door access. Call us today at 648-7867 for more information.
Hafa Guam, welcome to KUAM. It is Wednesday, and you know what Wednesday is here? It is crime time. I'm your host, Ken Nicholas. I'm joined by Officer Tapao and Officer Diego of the training and staff. And today we have a special guest who's going to be doing the POPAT.
Yes.
Right? And that's none other than Sabrina Salas Matsunani. She's going to start a run in a little bit. Bree, are you excited?
I'm excited. I'm nervous, actually. Go ahead.
And Bree doesn't really know what's going on right now. She's going to do a physical, what does this stand for? Police Officer Physical Agility Test?
Yes, that is correct. So that is the POPAT, in short, is the Police Officers Physical Agility Test. That's for all Category 1 peace officers. So this is actually codified into law. So for the last 2 years, we've been exploring the PFQT that was introduced by the Post, and with Category 1, Category 2, and to include our brothers and sisters from the Guam Fire Department, we were doing the numbers, our training and staff, working closely with other Category 1 law enforcement side, and of course the Post Commission, in developing something that is centric towards the agency. And this is where they've actually incorporated the police officers physical agility test, because realistically this is what our officers are going to encounter out on the streets. This is really where the expectations and the physical demands of the officer is expected of them in performing their duties. So this POPAT test, it really gauges and tests the officer's ability to maintain calm under duress, and of course be able to do their daily functions, the required functions. And if you notice, Sabrina, she's wearing our Sambra, or our utility gear, and of course with the exception of the firearm and of course the radio, that is pretty much the basic essential, and which is utilized by our patrol officers. So that's our daily norm, in which each patrol officer has to carry and everything. So she's going to run the POPAT with the gear.
That's awesome. And this test, it's kind of like a time trial, right? You have a certain amount of time that you have to complete it in?
Yes. The officer will have to complete it in 7 minutes and 20 seconds.
Wow. And then is there like a allowed failure rate per obstacle? Like if they can't complete one of the obstacles, or they have to complete everything?
No, they have to complete the whole obstacle.
Oh, it's pass or fail. It's like my high school classes. Okay.
That's correct.
So, let's get it started. I know Bree is excited to go. What does she have to do first?
So realistically, we're going to have her situated into a marked cruiser, right? And it really starts when the officer has to get out and physically, respond to an incident. So 99% of the time, people who commit crime, they don't want to get caught. So, the foot pursuit comes into play. And of course, the escape and evade. So we have to be able to, again, manipulate every movement that suspect or that perpetrator is doing, mimicking exactly what they do, and be able to maintain, like I said, calm under duress, because we have to manipulate handcuffs. We have to also manipulate our firearms. We also have to manipulate an officer's safety or officer survival by, getting yourself out of the line of sight of fire. And of course, being able to provide aid to an officer, a fallen officer, by pulling them into safety. So she's going to have to do a 300-meter run, 300-meter sprint. She's going to simulate running up 10 flights of stairs. She's going to go to agility course with the tires, an obstacle course with the serpentine. She's going to have to go to a balancing beam. She's going to have to do get-ups off the ground, be able to crawl. She's going to have to jump over walls, simulate handcuffing techniques, and of course simulate shooting the firearm. And lastly was pulling your officer to safety. So that's everything that's incorporated. And Officer Jesselyn will actually elaborate further as to the expectation, because this is, there's no bias to this. There's no because you're female, because you're age. This is the expectation for all officers.
Yeah, and I'm guessing it's really important that these types of drills and activities are kind of second nature to you, because when you're in the field, like, you don't want to be caught.
Correct.
No one.
That's correct. So the POPAT will effectively time the officer, right, at 7 minutes and 20 seconds. It will test the physical strength, muscle endurance, aerobic capacity, and also allow the officer to, get his composure while taking that test.
Okay. I have a bunch of other questions for it. We'll give Bree some time to
Yeah.
stretch it out. How often do the officers have to do this test? Like, is there a renewal cycle for the physical fitness? Or?
Yes, we do it annually,
Oh,
every
okay.
quarter. So if they don't pass, they have 42 to 90 days to retake the test.
Awesome, awesome. And all the officers do their tests at the Dedido precinct. This is
Yes.
the one location for the.
Yes,
Yes.
and it's not just GPD, but also this obstacle course is actually mirrored at the Guam Customs and Quarantine. Department of Correction also utilizes the same physical agility test. But just to highlight what the quarterly expectation is, our training and staff will work closely with the officers who don't meet the mark, right? So what they would do is actually work with them in programs and getting them, acclimated and some of the flaws that they may have experienced to this, and incorporate some sort of training regimen for them. So the officers is given a grace period of three chances, I believe, to pass the test. So they work closely with training and staff. They recommend some diet regimen. They recommend some training regimen for the officer, and it really is the efforts of our training and staff and the work that they do in bettering our officers. So if you don't pass it one time, you still have three opportunities to better yourself and fulfill the mark and of course pass with the expectations of the POPED time of 7 minutes and 20 seconds.
So Breezy, you heard that. If you don't pass it today, we can just come back next week. Right, we're gonna do this.
Come back
So,
in 42 days.
So we have Officer Wynn that's going to simulate running with her, but Sabrina's actually going to be in the car, and then once we give the thumbs up, she's going to have to exit the car and run. Okay, so just want to highlight a hazard there in case you're wondering. Just watch out for that hazard on the grass. Okay, so take note of that, please. That's one thing about being aware of your situational awareness. So we'll have you sit in the car. You're simulating that you're driving in the driver's side. And I'll just stand here, block this hazard. And then you're gonna run. He's gonna run with you, and he's gonna give you everything he needs to do.
Should I
When
put
it,
on my seatbelt?
once we give the thumbs up, you gotta exit and you gotta simulate a run.
So I'll be proctoring the test and timing it.
all right, all right. Bree, you good? You good?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, guys. Cheer on Bree here. She is starting. So she's starting off with a 300-meter run. Is that correct, Paul?
Yes, yes. So she is actually simulating what a foot pursuit will look like, and like I said, Officer Wynn, he's one of our SWAT operators, so he's physically ready every time on the call of duty. But she's going to run 300 meters, like what you would see in a foot pursuit. It's really, how do you exert your energy? Do you dump your energy hard enough to where you don't have the it's really the lactic acids, everything that builds into one, because you have adrenaline too. People who are not physically conditioned in doing circuit training or any type of CrossFit, and this is pretty much like a CrossFit type training, right? It's really, how do you balance and control the lactic acid, because many muscles are going to be working, but the more important muscles, of course, is the brain, because we need that to function and be able to fulfill the police duties and everything. So they're coming around the corner, they're moving in, and she's going to simulate 20 flights of steps.
Yep.
There's incidents where we've actually had to chase suspects up stairways, up hotels, 30 floors. It's no joke, I mean, once the lactic acid builds in and everything, it's really, you don't want to be the officer that succumb to your fatigue and everything, because not only now you pose a threat to yourself, but also to your fellow officer. So, this is one of the main reasons why we are simulating the muscular and of course the anaerobic workout.
So the POPAD is one facet of the passing for all cadets. What other are there for people who are looking to be police officers? What other tests need to be passed besides the physical test?
So this is pretty much, like I said, this is not a bias. This is not gender bias or age bias. This is for every uniform officer, both active and of course in our reserve. So those who are aspiring to become police officers, DOE will simulate something similar to this. I believe it's a half-a-mile run. They run around the track, and of course they go through their agility test. So this again, it's separate and apart from the DOA's requirements for the initial employment with the Guam Police Department. But once you're employed with GPD, This is the test. Like I said, this has been codified. This is our law now. This has been accepted by the legislature, acknowledged by the post, and acknowledged by all Category 1, peace officers. So this is exactly what we have to go through every year to gauge our officers whether they're fit for duty.
Bree, you are killing it right now. This was pretty fast. We were talking for like a couple minutes, and Bree's already like halfway through.
So now she's doing push-ups, get-ups and everything because, we do a lot of the fight really ends on the ground. And this is the hard part, getting
Almost, Bree.
Yeah.
Go on there.
up.
Yeah.
So she has an extra load. I just want to, that's our gear. That's about 5-10 pounds, with the add-on of the firearm.
And the uniform and the shoes,
Yes.
right? I mean,
Yeah, so what, if you see the difference in my uniform, I'm wearing the Class B uniform. It's a very formal type uniform. Officer Wynn is wearing our Class C uniform, right? So you can see that it's a tactical pants and, of course, a durable shirt. Breathe,
Bree,
breathe, breathe. So she has to be able to think. Up. Good.
yeah. If you're watching the stream, watching Bree do the POPAT right now, that's the Police Officer Physical
So this is in the
Agility
event where
Test.
she has to look. She's peeking, she's looking for any hazard, okay? And it's really important because that builds situational awareness. Here comes the challenging part now, is getting over the wall. We have suspects who go over the wall and everything, so.
Oh, look at that. Bree was so scared about the wall, but you just got to have a little faith and know what's at risk there.
Yep. Now she's simulating actually shooting 6 shots. Right hand support it, strong hand support it, weak hand unsupported.
Do you guys have like a gun range or a firing range where you guys?
Yes, we've actually worked with the military and, of course, with the Guam Community College shooting range. That's where we our issued weapons, our issued sidearms and everything. So look at how she has to manipulate that. Okay, that's of course the mental aspect. Now here comes the part where they have to rescue and drag the your fallen officer.
And this is also at the end of the course where it's like, you need everything. Right?
Yeah.
Now, how heavy is that?
That's about 135 pounds. The average body, of course. You can be 200 pounds, 160 pounds, but when you're dead weight, when you're not able to move, you go heavy. You're actually passive on the ground. It becomes heavy. So she did it in 5 minutes and 9 seconds.
5 minutes and 9 seconds. And what's a passing time? What does she have to hit?
7 minutes and 20 seconds. So like I was saying, this is not biased towards any gender or age. 7 minutes is the requirement. So as you can see, she's neighboring her breathing and everything. Couple that with real life situation. You're dealing with an in progress, adrenaline. And I want to stress that. Adrenaline is the major factor in a lot of fatigue. Adrenaline, when it dumps, when you have it, right, you're invincible. But once it dumps, it's like it's your body becomes lethargic and everything. So, right now we're bringing her down, her heart rate down. It's important because, at the end, once you're able to complete this, once you're able to apprehend the suspect, it's really your composure. You gotta put everything into account as to what you had to do, because that becomes part now of courtroom testimony. Yeah. The work that you put in, how far did you chase them? What did you have to do? This is where you as a police officer, this is really critical. You understanding, the mental aspect is, every athlete, every sports athlete, every coach would tell you, it's 10% physical, 90% mental. And it really is, the mentality of it and understanding. And me as a duty officer, I make sure that, my officers are safe. That's my first and foremost objective. We can go out there and save the world, but if my officers, we have inspections, we check their gear, we check their health, if they're fit for duty, if somebody's feeling sick, maybe we'll give them light duty, put them behind a desk, right, where they won't be required to do any physical work. But as a duty officer, we have to make sure that the officers that we put out in the line out in the road are fit for duty and are capable and able to handling this type of situations.
I mean, it was really fun. For us, it's fun. We're just sitting watching it, and but like you said, like the dynamic is a lot different in a real situation where there's a sense of urgency and danger, right? Like your life, your partner's life, your life, or community representative's life is at risk.
Yes.
And then so I mean, definitely it's definitely challenging. But Bree did good. Officer Diego, what would you what's your advice to Bree? How did she do?
Well, she did really well.
Yeah.
She completed the obstacle course, 5 minutes and 9 seconds. So you did really well. Outstanding work.
Bree, there you go. Bree, we can
Worked
get
out
you
this
lunch.
Morning, stretched out. Yeah, Jason's gonna buy me lunch. Feel good because he should have been the one doing this. But it really,
Bree's second workout today.
it really shows that I show. It's just great appreciation for what you guys do. I can't even speak.
So you mentioned what was going through your mind when running that course.
I was trying to stay focused because I know, Paul, you said you got to be calm, right? And so I was trying to be calm, but at the same time trying to, simulate that, oh, I'm actually chasing after somebody. I'm not going to lie, then when I got to the back, I was like, okay, yeah, let's take it a little bit easy.
You're
And
kinda
then,
gassing
get
out.
back into it. Like, okay, we're going after somebody. We have to get them. We have to protect the community. So, yeah.
So out of curiosity, what's the fastest time or like the most impressive completion of this course that you guys have seen?
I believe it was 2 minutes and 10 seconds.
Young
2
bucks.
minutes.
Although we say it's not age bias, but we got to give it to these young bucks.
Wow.
Once you pass 45, age, you not only do you have to match your A1C and of course your blood pressure and your waistline. These 20-some-year-olds, these 19-year-old officers, they have a lot of years ahead of them. I think I speak for a lot of those who've touched 20 years of service in the department. We've had our fair shares of foot pursuits. We had our fair shares of actually scaling walls, jumping over, climbing barbed wire fences, and torn pants and torn uniforms. But it was really the moment. I mean, it's really hard to grasp and understand what we do. I mean, you see it in cops. You see it on the telly and everything, but in real life scenarios, it really is the officers being able to maintain their composure under heavy duress. And like I said, adrenaline plays a major factor in how you manage your adrenaline, and it really some officers I see are top-notch, fit buffs, but once that adrenaline dumps, it's like they're lethargic and weak, and you have the old timers walking by them smoking cigarette, and and you become the talk for you become the briefing room talk for a week, and it's like they tease you, was it broken chassis or
Well, I see Officer Wynn, he don't look like that though.
doesn't
Officer
look
look,
like
he
that,
look like 24 years old.
Yeah, Mike looks like he's 20. He's 24 and he still acts like he's 25. But I mean, it's really important that we put that. So
We got a couple comments here. Hafaday, Officer Jesselyn. Hafaday, let's go Sabrina, bring it girl.
Yes.
So anyway, that's if you're just joining us, Bree just completed a POPAT, 5 minutes 20 seconds, 5 minutes 30 seconds.
5 minutes and 9 seconds.
And, this is the
Give me
there
that.
you go. This is the assessment test that all police officers have to do. But yeah, that's crime time for today. Thank you for spending your day with us, and we will see you next time.
bye guys, thank you.